Hi, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Karen Demers.
And I'm Reverend Robert.
Today we're going to get started on something I have wanted to get started on for a long time, and that is talking about dowsing. We're going to do a series. Robert's our guinea pig. And we are going to do this in small increments, like 10, no more than 15 minutes at a time. It's meant to be done in bite-sized chunks because you just don't learn something like this in one day or in a half an hour. Or if you don't do it really well afterwards. So before we jump into dowsing, we're going to talk a little bit about what dowsing is. So when I say dowsing, what do you think?
At one time, I had no idea. But now I have an idea. I believe it's been around for many, many years, ancient forms, and it's come to the now, and a lot of people are using it still.
It has stood the test of time in different forms. People use their body, they use instruments. We're going to talk about all the different types of ways you can do this. But it's one of those things that has never truly gone away. There are times when people have kept it kind of on the down low, but there are times in the early 1900s, the British Empire had an official dowser in places to find things.
And I think Jethro Clampett used to use it too when he was finding water with his...
Okay, yeah, that is actually a form of dowsing. See, you can use these two words interchangeably, dowsing and divining. It's the same thing, except to me, divining is a...
Surprise.
Divining is more of, it's a broader thing. So you can use cards to do divining. What you're really trying to do is get clarification or get direction or confirmation. So we're going to find out over the course of this that there are many ways that you can use dowsing. And there's some things that's really not effective for, and that's just because we're human beings and it's kind of silly to ask those kind of questions anyways. So we're going to start at the beginning. Okay, so...
What do I need to know?
Well, first you have to understand how they work. When you're first starting out, you're going to basically have three different answers. Whether you're making a statement and saying something like, my name is Karen, and it should show me a yes for that. If I say my name is Robert, it should show me a no, because it is telling me I'm making a true statement or a false statement. Now, some people like to ask it in the form of a question, but the trick to dowsing is in how you word the question, and that's something we're going to cover as we go along. It sounds kind of nitpicky at first, but really it is what makes or breaks you as doing this and getting really accurate results. And we're going to talk about how to stack the deck to get better results too, because there are some things that you can do. We're going to use something to access what it is that we're accessing to get this information and get into form that we can use it. So you can use your body, and I don't know if we'll get to that today, but we'll talk about the instruments that most people are familiar with. Most people think of a pendulum, but there are alternatives to pendulums, and I'd like to show you that first. I went over this on the What's My Table, and these are dowsing rods, or L rods, because they look like an L, and we'll show a nice close-up picture of it. So when you use these, it's like any other form of divination. You have to learn the language. Now these are small. I can keep them in my purse quite easily. They're copper. And this is why these are really a little... They would not be my choice on what to have somebody learn on, because the rod is copper and the sleeve that allows us to pivot, that is copper as well. And copper is a fantastic conductor. It's going to boost your accuracy a little bit, but it also conducts very quickly. So most people find these kind of twitchy. They move around a lot. So what you want to do is when you're starting out, you want to keep your feet flat on the floor and keep your spine erect. You don't want to cross your legs, cross your ankles, or anything like that, because you want the energy to be able to flow through you. And so that's important. Actually, it's important when you're doing any type of divination. You just want to keep that connection open. So you're going to hold these in your hands. And the idea is I hold them, and this is how I was taught. I always use the Trinity. 3 fingers, 2 fingers and a thumb technically. And see, they can move. So what you have to first do is you have to start talking to whomever it is you're talking to and ask the questions. In this one, you would give it a statement and say, show me my yes. That's my yes. And it is for probably 99.9% of the people, because rods, you don't have the movement that you have with a pendulum. And if I say, show me no, they cross. That's my no when I'm using with rods. Then if I say a question that needs to be reworded or can't be answered in a yes or no, you get what I call the nebulous answer or the neutral answer, which means back up, ask that differently, think it through a little more. And that's what I call my confusion signal, where it just keeps going like this and it's just all over the place. That tells me I need to start over again and really think about what I'm doing. The other rod set that I have with me, now these are a little easier. Again, these are metal, but this part is more like plastic, like a PVC almost. So again, the idea is your hand does not touch this part or this part. It has to be able to swing. Now you can also dowse with one rod. You can say, show me yes, show me no, show me neutral, but it's a lot tougher. You have more of a range of motion if you're using two. Do you want to try this one? Have you ever used this pair?
Nope.
No, you've only used the little coppery pair.
Do we need to clean them first?
Well, these have recently been cleaned, and that's something, I'm glad you brought that up. Anytime you're using something that you have purchased somewhere, particularly it's been hanging in a store or something, other people have touched it and their vibrations are all over it. So to make it yours and to kind of get anybody else's stuff off of it, you want to clean it first. And there's many ways to clean it. It's just like cleaning a gemstone or cleaning your jewelry. Not in the, like, I'm going to make my silver really shiny sense, but in the sense of I'm going to get somebody's vibes off it. For example, this bracelet I've had for years. It's made by it's Navajo, I think. Yes, Navajo. And it's kind of heavy. It's solid silver. And it is not uncommon for me to be like I was in a grocery store the other day and I went, oh, it's so pretty. And I was like, okay, now I get to go home and clean it because I don't want to carry you around with me all day. And that's what you have to do. So you want to clean it responsibly, and this is just common sense, but how you would clean it would depend on what it's made out of. You can put it in salt, you can put it in the earth, you can put it outside if it isn't something that the sun will fade. So if you're using a gemstone pendulum and it's made from amethyst, I wouldn't stick it out in the sun because sun will fade amethyst. So you could put it in water that has been put out in the sunlight and make it into solar water, or water that's been with the moon. If I don't know, salt works great too.
Salt water in a tub, maybe?
You could, but again, pay attention to it because it will corrode some things and screw them up, as I learned. I didn't do it, someone else did it. But there's another way to do, and this is kind of like the quick and dirty one if you don't know how to do something, and that's just using sage. This is a sage wand. You would just light it, blow it out, and then it would be smoking, and then you could put it in here, and I just use this shell. And that's what most of us traditionally use. And I would run this through. I would just run it through the smoke several times. You can also clean with your intent and white light. If you're adept at that, that's fine. A beginner, however, is probably going to think, I don't know if I'm doing it right, so tangibly do it until you can figure it out. So let's see you find your yes and find your no. Uncross your feet.
Oh, yes. All right. So I am basically trying to hold them straight.
You're trying, yeah. Okay.
All right. Show me my no, please. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Please show me my no.
I am so glad this is happening because
These are your rods and not mine.
I hate to say this, but I've been told this many times. I've loaned these out to people long term and they come back and say, you know, it works when you're sitting right next to me, but when I go away, it doesn't. So this is a little harder for some people to use because they're a little larger and you don't have the copper.
Okay, X-nay on the no. Show me my yes, please.
You're getting some movement, and this is also not uncommon. In the beginning, the movements may be more subtle, and that's fine. You are using your intuition, and consider it a muscle that you haven't used before. The great thing, though, is that working something like this will help you do any form of divination, whether you're working with cards or whatever. It is going to help you to access that information. But again, don't overuse it. Be responsible. Work up to it.
Okay.
So the movements in the beginning can be small and subtle.
Now,
Then say thank you.
thank you very much for showing me my yes. Now, please show me maybe.
Well, that one's starting to move, but I'm going to make a suggestion. Let's see the difference if you use the little twitchier ones.
Thank you very much. I'm going to give you back to your
Their special friend.
owner, your special friend. Yes.
Your special friend.
Now, these guys, I've seen once before.
Yeah. We
Okay.
almost had a defection that day.
Yeah. All right. Hello. Are you showing me a no?
Let's get him in the neutral position to start with, and then just say, "Show me."
Okay, please show me no. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Put him back in the middle to start him out again. Get him at the
Okay.
same place.
Okay. That close enough?
That's close enough to start with. Yeah. That's the normal starting position.
Okay. Please show me my maybe. Or do I have to go to yes?
Most people start with their yes.
Okay. Let's see a yes, please.
Let's try another way.
Okay.
Make a statement that you know is true, like your name.
My name is Elvis Presley.
Okay.
Could have been a former life.
Don't think so.
No.
Try saying a true statement.
He was alive when I was alive, man.
Oh.
A true statement. Okay. Hang him out there. Hang him out there. All right. True statement would be I drive a Trailblazer. Is that true?
Okay, here's the art of the question. You do drive a Trailblazer. You also drive my Prius.
Well, that's a
So,
trick question.
See, this is where it gets funny. It's the art of the question.
I was in the Prius just a few minutes ago.
See, that's a true statement. You just came back from running an errand, and you were driving my Prius, so it says yes.
Is that a yes? That's a yes.
That may be your yes. Now I'm gonna.
Oh, boy. This could be interesting.
Now let's
We're
go
running.
backwards for a minute. Okay, since we are trying to keep things in bite-sized chunks, this is a good place to stop for today. Tomorrow we will pick up again, and we will use the pendulums instead of the rods, and we'll continue to see how Robert progresses.
We'll see what happens. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
Thank you.
God bless you.